In the race to establish the internet, AOL was still tying their shoelaces while the Department of Defense was crossing the finish line. The internet was funded, designed, developed, and promoted by the very people who want to control you. As in all things in life, it's up to you to decide what the cost's going to be in terms of your privacy and your quality of life. Now, right about now, you might be saying,
"Ha ha, AT, you fracking hypocrite. You're on Facebook."
yes, this persona is on Facebook. And if you and all your friends popped on a ski mask and sunglasses, attempted to mask your IP by connecting through a proxy server, used a pseudonym and gave no personal information, you might actually have a valid claim on caring about your privacy. It might make it difficult to locate any friends, though, and it is this desire that the social networking sites exploit for their needs, while claiming it's to serve your needs for social networking. Social networking. What is this bill of goods we've been sold? It's a double-edged sword, and it requires you to be both fully awake and ready to accept responsibility for the choices you make. Although Facebook describes itself as a social utility that connects you with the people around you, I have to ask, why would I need a computer to connect with the people around me? Why should meaningful relationships be mediated solely through electric cables and Wi-Fi? Do social networking sites really connect people? Instead of talking, eating, and breathing fresh outdoors air with friends, do we instead send them badly spelled status updates and links to the latest stupid sites? And if you do happen to be out with friends, how many times during the conversation do they break away to answer the phone call that just Excuse me, I have to take this. Now, far from connecting us, social networking sites actually isolate. While we sit alone at a computer, we've settled for the illusion of friendship, or for the devices we've been convinced we can't do without that interrupt us just when a face-to-face conversation is beginning. Who has convinced us that we must connect at all times, yet connect only through the gadgets they sell us, and through the massive social networking sites they run? Can you remember a time when you went for a walk or out to the shops or even commuted home, to and from your job, without the need to carry around a mobile phone? Today's phones feature GPS tracking, wireless network hookup, and even allow Google the knowledge of your exact location for improved search and other services, of course. We have sold the freedom of privacy, friends, and in an attempt to avoid ever being alone again, we've isolated ourselves by becoming enslaved to our gadgets. Speaking of communicating, an easy 75% of the messages I receive reach me in a new language now, known as Textlish. So here we are, suckered into thinking we're in communication with others at all times, yet limiting ourselves in actual ability to communicate clearly by crippling the English language in order to save time on sending text messages. Save time for what? More World of Warcraft? Twitter? MySpace? So I've saved the two 800-pound gorillas for last. First, Google. Larry Page and Sergey Brin met at Stanford University, and in January 1996 began collaboration on a rudimentary search engine called Backrub. Page and Brin then contacted Yahoo founder David Filo, and though he liked their presentation, he advised them to start a search engine company and told them that when they'd fully developed it, they would talk again. Now, fighting both time and maxed out personal credit cards, Page and Brin landed a meeting with Andy Bechtolsheim of Sun Microsystems, who saw the potential. And one 20-minute meeting later, they were handed a check for $100,000 made out to Google Inc. The only problem was Google Inc. hadn't established itself as a legal entity yet, so the two put the check in a drawer and set out to form a corporation. Now, Sun Microsystems' enthusiasm was well-founded. Page and Brin developed something that was just too good not to attract the attention of the intelligence community. They had managed to create something better than anything hundreds of millions of US dollars could buy for the government, so it was only a matter of time until the feds came knocking. Now, I believe the company was started with the best of intentions, to create a new niche and then fill it better than anyone else. In this case, the best search engine in the world. At one of the original company meetings, Google employees Paul Buchheit and Amit Patel suggested the motto, "Don't be evil," and it was rapidly adopted as the central pillar of their corporate identity. And it was too good to last, and it's since been softened, warped, and increasingly redefined since Google declared their self-censorship move to China. The "Don't Be Evil" motto was apparently replaced with an evil scale balancing system, allowing smaller evils for the greater good. Now, whose greater good would that be? The companies, of course. The sliding scale of evil has apparently allowed Google to finalize an agreement that will partner then with the National Security Agency. And they should feel right at home, since they've been hand in hand with an alphabet agency before. Despite having a detailed and largely incomprehensible privacy policy, Google gathers more information about your online activities than you may expect. They track you when you visit a website with Google Ads. They track you when you visit whitehouse.gov or even enter it as a search term. They track every visit you make to YouTube. And if you use Gmail, they know everything you commit to every email you write. Anything you ever type into their search box grants them permission to track you. Google Street View, anyone? So what pies does Google have its sticky fingers in? Let's take a look at this list of acquisitions. So we've seen what they own. How about a list of what they want us to buy? I'm in a shopping mood. Let's see what they have to say about their imaginatively titled service, Health. It puts me in charge of my health information and claims to be safe, secure, and free. It organizes my health information all in one place. No, thank you. Google is big and powerful and rich, and too good at what they do. They're also in bed with the NSA, the CIA, the CDC. They acquired Keyhole, the CIA-funded satellite mapping software now known as Google Earth. They own 40-plus companies and offer more than 100 unique products designed to convince you to spill every last detail of your life in exchange for a few free diversions. It reminds me of nothing more than buying Manhattan from its inhabitants for a few glass beads. Google also seems to think it's no longer necessary to label a product after their own company name, as in the case of Frugal becoming the much more Soviet-style product search. So I have to ask the question, what part of "Don't Be Evil" are you failing to grasp here, Google? Now let's take a look at another major player in the game. In-Q-Tel is a not-for-profit venture capital firm that invests in high-tech companies for the sole purpose of keeping the Central Intelligence Agency equipped with the latest information technology. In-Q-Tel connects with entrepreneurs, established companies, universities, researchers, and venture capitalists to develop technologies that pay out in superior intelligence capabilities for the US government. Interestingly, they list the aforementioned Keyhole, the Google acquisition from the CIA, as one of their companies. Either they need to keep better track of what they've supposedly sold off, or there's something more nefarious going on.
America's spy agencies want to read your blog posts, keep track of your Twitter updates, even check out your book reviews on Amazon, according to a Wired magazine report this week. In-Q-Tel, the investment arm of the CIA and the wider intelligence community, is putting cash into Visible Technologies, a software firm that specializes in monitoring social media. Visible crawls over 500,000 websites a day, scraping more than 1 million posts and conversations taking place on blogs, online forums, Flickr, YouTube, Twitter, and Amazon. Then the company scores each post, labeling it as positive or negative, mixed or neutral. It examines how influential a conversation or an author is. Finally, Visible gives users a chance to tag posts, forward them to colleagues, and allow them to respond through a web interface. Blake Cahill, a company senior vice president, says, "That's kind of the basic step. Get in and monitor, then try to determine who really matters." According to Stephen Aftergood, who tracks intelligence issues at the Federation of American Scientists, intelligence agencies or employees might be tempted to use the tools at their disposal to compile information on political figures, critics, journalists, or others, and to exploit such information for political advantage. That is not permissible even if all of the information in question is technically open source. Here's some more information on In-Q-Tel, directly from their own website. Launched by the CIA in 1999 as a private, independent, not-for-profit organization, IQT was created to bridge the gap between the technology needs of the intelligence community and new advances in commercial technology. In-Q-Tel's mission is to discover, adapt, and deliver leading-edge commercial technologies that can enable the CIA and the broader U.S. intelligence community's critical intelligence work. IQT, as a private company with deep ties to the commercial world, is able to attract and build relationships with technology entrepreneurs outside the reach of the intelligence community. All of this to monitor what you say on sites like YouTube.